belief. What'd you think of that mustache I had going back in the day? Wow, interesting looks when you look back at yourself, huh? Zurich, you should have helped me out, buddy. First of all, I'd like to thank Santa Clara University. I'd like to thank the selection committee for this honor. And, I don't say that lightly. This truly is an honor. All those many years ago, the first time I stepped on this campus, there's no way I would have thought that my journey would end right here. And some of you know my story, some of you don't, but trust me when I say that it's been a long journey. I'd like to say congratulations to the other inductees, Kelly, Leslie, Coach Davey, and it's kind of a slight twist. I played for Coach Davey when I played here at basketball. It was Coach Davey's first year as the head coach, and so I was thinking this might be a good time to tell some old stories, get some stuff off my chest. But then I said, this isn't the right time. It's not the right audience. But I was talking to two friends of mine, Drew Zurich, a good friend for a long time, another guy that played for Coach Davey the same year, and Kevin Dunn. I've known Kevin even longer, since fifth grade. He also played for Coach Davey. So, they said, and I said, we shouldn't tell these stories. They said, well, why don't you tell the story, Kevin said this, why don't you tell the story about the time when we played Reno, right before the break. And we played terrible, and we lost, and we had the Christmas break, and we came back. First practice after, you've been home, good home cooking, and we ran, and we ran, and we ran, and we ran, and then we just kept running. And so Kevin was like, yeah, tell that story about how Drew was sick in the corner from all that running. I was like, that's not really the time to tell that story. And then Drew said, well, hey, why don't you tell the story about when Kevin missed 2 consecutive free throws when we were playing against Arizona in the NCAA Tournament, and Coach Davey slammed his hand down and broke his hand. And I was like, no, you know what? Guys, come on, we can't tell those stories. So, Coach, as a gentleman, I refuse. I will not tell those stories up here. I won't do it. So I was at I work for the Giants. I was at a Giants event up in Napa, and it was with a lot of the corporate sponsors. And I was sitting next to a guy at the end of the golf round, and we were chatting it up, and he mentioned how his son was playing high school baseball. Now his son was playing in the playoffs, and, they had advanced in a round, and he said they were just so happy to advance. He said, what advice would you give to somebody when they start playing against better competition? What changes do you need to make? And so I thought, and I said, you know what? Or he said, what changes did you make? And I said, I never changed. And he looked at me funny, and, that might seem a little bit coarse or maybe like I'm coming off as a jerk, but I quickly explained to him, as a baseball player, your job as a hitter is to hit mistakes, right? The guy throws it down the middle, you hit it. The guy makes a great pitch, you're out. So I never changed as a baseball player. I wanted to hit mistakes, whether it was high school, college, low minors, big leagues. I did the same thing. And as I thought about that, I felt like that was kind of a microcosm for my life and my foundation. I feel like I'm the same guy today as I was. My mom's shaking her head. Of course she's going to say that. But I really felt like I'm the same guy. Like I haven't really changed much. And, I believe that I owe that to just a lot of the people here. First of all, my parents. Thank you guys, number one. You guys taught me from when I was that small, right, wrong, what to do, what not to do. And you guys were there for all my games, driving me around, going to practice, coaching. And, they really instilled, what I believe sports is all about. Hard work, determination, teamwork, sacrifice. Those things were instilled at home, and they carried over into sports. So thank you guys for that. My brother Kyle, one of my biggest fans. I love you. I know you do anything for me, for my family. So thank you for always being there. I have my extended family, my nephew Cesar, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, who's in heaven, God rest his soul. We got a chance to come back here as Giants and really spend a lot of time with you guys. So, I'm truly blessed for that. My children, my son Shannon, I told him I'd say that. Sadia, I love you guys so much. They didn't get a chance to see me play much, but anybody who's a father or a parent, it's just great watching your children grow. But quick story about my son. So, he didn't get a chance to see me play, but I'm now on Comcast, do a little talking, run my mouth a little bit. And so I said, hey, buddy, did you see me? I was on TV tonight. What'd you think? Did you watch it? He was like, eh. He's like, what do you mean? I was on TV. Did you watch me? And he said, or I said, what'd you see? What was I doing? He said, you were just talking, so I turned it off. So. My wife, Blessings. So Blessings and I met here at Santa Clara. Oh, okay. So we met the year before we got to Santa Clara. It was a basketball game. St. Joe's High. Jason Kidd went there, was playing Skyline. We both happened to be at the game. We met there briefly. So she says we met there. I say we met at Santa Clara. So she's probably right. But so we met. We really got to know each other here. We got married here, not too far away, in 2002. And since then, you've been my rock. You've been there through the ups and downs of baseball, life. And, baseball's really a game of managing failure. So, as a hitter, you hit 3 out of 10, you're in the Hall of Fame. So everybody's like, that's great. But 7 times you failed, and one of those hits might have been a swinging bunt or the outfielder fell down. So you're really not feeling too good about those 2 of 8. And then you might have Pedro Martinez or Randy Johnson coming in. So, it's about managing your failures. It really is. So you've always been there for me. Whatever I needed, a few words, pat on the back, kick in the butt. Thank you for always being there. As I look around and I see a lot of familiar faces that, I've known for a long time that have been around the university, it's great to come back to, for me where, this journey started. And, I've friends here, old friends, older friends. And I don't mean older in the sense of age. I mean older in the sense of years. We've been through a lot. We've known each other a long time. And, I really think that's what Santa Clara is about, family and the family atmosphere that's here at this university, and is what I think really makes it very special. How did I get here to Santa Clara? I talked a little bit about, my journey. I really wasn't recruited for sports. I was offered exactly 0 Division I scholarships. So, my goal when I was in high school, I wanted to play Division I baseball, a chance to play Division I baseball, Division I basketball, and go to a university with a strong academic reputation. I had some other options, but Carol Williams, who saw me play in high school, saw Kevin Dunn, who I mentioned earlier. We played in high school together. He was a guy that said, I think Santa Clara would be a really good fit for you. And boy, was he right. So, I don't know if I've ever actually said this to you, but you really had a big influence on me coming here. And like I said, he was right. I didn't get drafted out of high school. I wasn't ready. Wasn't good enough. Maybe I thought I was, but I really wasn't. I wasn't ready. So, coming here, chance to play Division I sports, a good tight-knit academic community, small classes. I didn't really, that wasn't my choice. You get out of high school and you think, all right, college, I can kind of do what I want. I can sleep in. I can miss some classes. Then you come here and all the professors know your name. I had one professor, Professor Sadagaran. He had a seating chart, small class and a seating chart, freshman year. And plus, so you do your homework, you get to class on Wednesday. On Wednesday, you'd start in the back of the class and snake forward. And on Friday, you'd start in the front of class and snake back. And my seat was in the middle. So he basically scared me into learning and doing my homework. It worked, though. and possibly maybe I needed that. But, the small classes were great. Who knows when a very small school is going to surprise everybody and go to the NCAA tournament, and you need to go to your professor and say, we're going to Salt Lake to play Arizona. My final I know is later this week. Is there any way we could work around it? Or if you get drafted and you say, you know what, I need to report to spring training. Is there any way, I could move my final up? And that worked out perfectly for me. It gave me the opportunity, because my professors knew me. I was in class. We had a relationship to go in and say, hey, can you work with me? And the professors were always able to do that because, I felt like we had that relationship. If I hadn't been in a bigger school, I might have been a number, talked to a TA, whatever. But I felt like that was, absolutely perfect for me. And then on the field, I got a chance to compete, got a chance to play, got a chance to show what I could do. I got a chance to play against, the guys that were the big-time recruits, against ranked teams, against potential MLB draftees. And I was able to show what I could do on that level. So this really was the place for me. And after it was all said and done, after I got drafted, and this was a big one for my mom was very vocal. I'm sure my dad wasn't far behind. You have to get your degree. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think my mom got into I don't want to say fight, a verbal altercation might be a little. There was a reporter that on the Giants put the people that had graduated and had their degrees, and they didn't mention me. I think she went after them. But it was that important, and that was the importance. I knew that it was not a question, get your degree. So it was all said and done, I got my degree. And I didn't realize going through the minors what kind of peace of mind that would give me. Just a little piece of paper, what peace of mind that would give me. I was able to just play the game, pursue my passion without worry about what might happen. One of my minor league teammates, married, had 3 kids, we're playing in short season A. We're making, I don't know, $500, $600, $700 a month. Not much. Married, kids. In the off season, he drove a truck, one of those big semis to make ends meet. That's pressure. That's pressure. I'm not saying that professional sports isn't pressure, because it is, but, being able to have that peace of mind to say, you know what, I'm going to go out, do the best I can, play to the best of my ability, and if it doesn't work, I have a fallback plan. That's what that piece of paper allowed me to do. I didn't realize then how big of a deal that actually was. I went on to play 12 years in the big leagues, played an all-star game, traveled around, did some really cool things, played with some great players. But in the end, I got to play a game as a job. That'd get much better than that. And it all started from the foundation that started right here at Santa Clara University. Thank you very much.
I looked at every one of them, and they looked at me. And finally it came to me. It wasn't that hard. It's really simple. Gentlemen, we have to score. That's all it took. Now you realize how smart we are. I mean, you have to be real smart to coach this game.
To have such people listen to me and care what I say, I tell you, it did great things to my self-confidence. And I really think that the Santa Clara crew, the men's team with Craig stroking that boat, is one of the reasons that I went on to make that 1979 national team.